Hey, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Akash Mehta and Friends podcast. This week we have a special guest. His name is Karunesh Talwar. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm just going to get straight into it. Hello, Karunesh. How's it going?
It's a good thing that you started the podcast before all of this, because I've had ideas to start making content from home, but the urgency of it, I didn't feel it until the lockdown started and the coronavirus thing happened. So by the time I realized that I want to be creating content at home,
Yeah.
I that there wasn't any option to acquire anything really. So now अभी हम लोग जो भी हमारे पास घर पे है, उससे we just like produce episodes whenever we can.
Yeah, I thought genuinely felt like, man, like I had such a different vision of how this summer was going to play out. Like I had such lofty visions कि यार ये साल तो IPL का प्रॉपर्टी करेंगे, ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे,
हाँ
ढेर
ब्रो,
सारा.
एक्चुअली आज आज क्या तारीख, आज वेडनेसडे 22 अप्रैल. हाँ, कल मैं सूरत जाने वाला था, परसों वडोदरा, और
वही
उसके अगले दिन
यार.
अहमदाबाद. मेरी मेरी क्या क्या बात है भाई. मेरी बात चल रही थी सितंबर अक्टूबर में ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड की. मेरी बात चल
हाँ.
रही थी ईयर एंड में अमेरिका कनाडा की. सब अभी अभी तो सब पानी में है. अभी देखेंगे. देखेंगे लेकिन
there's कोई सुझाव नहीं है डूड, कोई सुझाव
मैं
नहीं है.
एक्चुअली बैठ के सोच रहा था थोड़े दिनों पहले, ऐसे ही मतलब क्योंकि समय इतना है अभी कि कुछ भी सोचने का टाइम है. तो मैं बैठ के सोच रहा था कि कितने पैसे गए यू नो ये
ओ डूड मत सोच, छी 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 छी.
डिजीज की वजह से. और फिर मैं सैड हुआ थोड़ा. फिर मैंने अपने आप को, फिर एक ही तरीका है ना, अगर आप सैड हो जाओ तो फिर आपके पास एक ही तरीका है अच्छा फील करने का, वो है कि
हाँ
ग्रेटफुल हो जाओ उसके बाद.
हाँ हाँ हाँ
तो
बिल्कुल.
देन आई हैड टू फोर्स माई सेल्फ टू थिंक कि चलो कम से कम इस पोजीशन में तो है कि यू कैन लूज दिस मच मनी. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Then you have to think of it in those terms, which is not a lot of help.
man, I've been doing lives on Instagram and on YouTube with the
Uh-huh.
game streaming and all. तो मैं
Yeah.
क्रिकेट 19 स्ट्रीम करता था, कल रात कर रहा था.
हाँ.
एंड I played a ट्राई सीरीज इंडिया बांग्लादेश पाकिस्तान
हाँ.
T20. And every time I stream, no dude, like I feel like whatever gratitude I have managed to like ऐसा मैं समेट समेट के थोड़ा थोड़ा gratitude का टुकड़ा जमा किया है. और
हाँ.
फिर लाइफ पे आके लोग अरे माधव चोत तू लौड़ू है, and it's just like it just suddenly you feel so hard to be grateful. It's like ये लौड़ू के लिए मैं बना रहा कंटेंट.
मैंने एक YouTube लाइव किया है, ठीक है, और एक तो मैंने हक दिया. बेसिकली YouTube लाइव इंस्टाग्राम लाइव जैसा नहीं है. YouTube लाइव पे तुम अपनी प्लानिंग करके जाओ कि बोलना क्या है तुम्हें. ऐसा नहीं कि इंस्टाग्राम लाइव की तरह देखते हैं लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं और फिर जवाब दे देंगे. इंस्टाग्राम लाइव पे आते 400 से 500 बंदे, ठीक है, एटलीस्ट मेरे पेज पे, जिसपे मतलब ऐसे भी नहीं कि बहुत क्रेजी फॉलोअर्स है. यूट्यूब पे मेरे पास ऑलमोस्ट 6 लाख सब्सक्राइबर्स है. तो उसका मतलब ये है कि कमेंट पे कमेंट, यू नो व्हाट दिस इज लाइक, राइट? मतलब क्या, 5 सेकंड में 1000 कमेंट आ जाएंगे, 800-700 कमेंट आ जाएंगे.
Exactly.
और उसमें सब कुछ है, सारी बातें कि तुम अमेजिंग हो, तुम चूतियो हो, तुम 1000 साल जियो, तुम अभी मर जाओ. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि इंटरनेट पे जो भी लोग बोलते हैं सब झूठ है. और अगर अपने आप को अच्छे मूड में रखना है और आगे जाके अच्छा काम करना है, तो तुम्हें मान के चलना पड़ेगा कि जो भी इंटरनेट पे मुझे कोई भी जो भी बोल रहा है, वो सारा झूठ है और वो मैटर नहीं करता है. क्योंकि लोग दो ही टाइप की बातें बोलते हैं. एक तो वो बोलते हैं कि भाई तुम बेस्ट हो, तुम फाड़ू हो, तुमसे बेहतर कोई नहीं है. ये भी साफ झूठ है. दूसरा वो बोलते हैं कि तुम लंड हो, तुम्हारी मौत हो जानी चाहिए, तुम्हारे ऊपर गाड़ी चढ़ जानी चाहिए, तुम हरामजादे हो. और ये भी झूठ है. ये भी बात है. So, I like to think of it as something that does not exist at most times. You know, matlab, for me, my following on the internet only exists for the first 2 days after an upload.
Yeah.
That's the time I'm sort of refreshing and checking everything. And then after that, it's like, dude, whatever, fuck it, man. Then you can't really get invested in it and think about it as being something too real.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I feel like the idea of taking any like both good things and bad things are equally meaningless from the internet, because internet audience को internally कि भाई ठीक ही है joke, मतलब इतना कुछ दुनिया नहीं बदल रहा है मैं.
हाँ. और ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब उन लोगों के लिए ग्रैटिट्यूड नहीं है या रिस्पेक्ट नहीं है. ऑफ कोर्स है. आई मीन, हम लोगों के करियर सुधरे उन लोगों के कंट्रीब्यूशन की वजह से, तो उसमें तो कोई डाउट नहीं है. लेकिन purely from a mindset perspective, from a state of mind perspective, I think it's very important to not take it very seriously. You know,
Huh, but like, is it hard for you to not make it feel like disdain? Because for me, it comes across as disdain very often.
I used to find that difficult. I used to feel like, I feel like that's a lie we tell ourselves because we like to be cool. You know,
As
He,
in that we have disdain?
yeah, we don't actually have disdain. I don't think even the best comic in India or in the world has disdain for their audience. No matter how good you get, you might feel like, oh, everything is coming so easily. I'm selling out shows so easily. I'm getting big laughs so easily. So you
Hmm.
might feel that what the feeling you're having is disdain. It's not. It's just uh, overconfidence slash complacency that comes with success,
Right.
बट अगर इन लोगों में से 10% भी लोग कम हो जाने थे या
Hmm.
20% भी लोग कम हो जाने थे तो तुम्हारी गांड फट जाती, यू नो like if you were to lose 20% of your fans, at that point I would ask you, now do you have disdain, or now are you like really fucking worried what the fuck is going on?
But I feel like it also comes from a sense of like I feel exhausted at the sense that there are people who are so. It's just the entitlement upsets me. It's not like I'm mad at them. I'm just sad at the fact that this is how you choose to react. But what you said makes sense. None of it is real. So why bother with any of it?
Dude, that and the other thing is that look, if you're in a situation, all right, where this is what you're forced to do, okay, picture this: you're sitting at home, all right, and somebody's put out a video on YouTube out of literally fucking billions of videos that are out there, all
Huh.
right, and you decide to shit on this person for what exactly? For doing something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
Yeah.
person did something.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything. That person will always be better than you until you stop what the fuck you're doing and get up and start doing something that actually matters.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's not to say that you reject everything that anybody says. There are a lot of negative comments that you get sometimes that make a good point. For instance, I started this series at home called Homemade Jokes. I did one episode and I used gimmicky sound effects ironically.
Huh.
I use them in a way where, like, wouldn't it be funny to put a few toyings in here because
Yeah.
there's no audience response and it would just be a sort of haha, look at this nonsense.
Yeah.
Because it's such chutia content anyway. But people were like, dude, that shit is annoying. And then I played it back and I was like, yeah, that shit is annoying. Now, overall, the feedback for the episode was the jokes are really good. Don't change
Yeah.
jokes. Just control the sound effects. Now, if you get constructive criticism like that, I respect that.
Yeah.
And I'll take it into account. And there's no ego in terms of, oh, I can't be wrong. This is my fucking. ऐसा कुछ सीन नहीं है, ठीक है. लेकिन अगर कोई बोल रहा है तुम्हारी माँ बहनों को गाली दे रहा है, या कोई बोल रहा है कि तुम मोटे हो, या कोई बोल रहा है कि तुम फेमिनिस्ट बातें कर रहे हो ताकि तुम्हें सेक्स मिले,
हाँ.
इसमें भाई तुम्हें पता ही नहीं है मेरी लाइफ क्या है, मैं कौन हूँ, मैं कैसे जीता हूँ. कॉमेडियंस
Yeah.
की लाइफ क्या है और वो रियल लाइफ में कौन है और कैसे लोग हैं, उनके घर का स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, उनके लाइफ का कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट क्या है, अगर ऑडियंस इसको पता चल जाए तो वो दंग रह जाएंगे. ठीक है, दंग रह जाएंगे. तुम लोग को आइडिया नहीं है. That's my point. So of course, like, what we do on stage is a version of ourselves,
Yeah.
but it's not exactly us.
Oh, absolutely.
उसके बेसिस पे जो ओपिनियंस फॉर्म करने कर लो, पर एट द एंड ऑफ द डे तुम किसी की तरफ इतनी नेगेटिविटी मार के खुद को हार्म कर रहे हो. उसका तो चल रहा है जो चल रहा है, सही है ना.
हाँ.
एट द एंड ऑफ द डे मैं हर रोज गाली खाने को तैयार हूँ अगर मेरे YouTube सब्सक्राइबर्स की वजह से मेरे को एक स्पेशल के लिए काफी पैसे मिल रहे हैं. Like, मेरा सब कुछ वैसा ही चलता रहेगा, dude.
Yeah.
थोड़ा क्या 3-4 मिनट के लिए मैक्सिमम अगर कोई बहुत ही गंदी कमेंट मार दे,
हाँ.
जो मतलब बहुत ही घिनौनी है और ऐसा मैंने कभी सुना नहीं है पहले, तो क्या 1-1.5-2 मिनट के लिए दिमाग खराब होगा? क्या होगा? उससे ज्यादा क्या होगा? उसके बाद तो यही है कि, और आई थिंक हम लोगों की आदत है कि एक बुरी कमेंट को एम्पलीफाई करके अपने दिमाग में बहुत बड़ा बना देते हैं, और जो 10,000 लोग अच्छी बातें बोल रहे हैं उनके तरफ डिसडेन, या उनके तरफ ये कि मतलब
हाँ. We take it for granted.
ठीक है ना, इतना तो जो भी है, लाइक इतना भी अपनी गांड में नहीं घुसना चाहिए.
हाँ.
इतना ज्यादा अपने आप को 30 मार खा नहीं समझना चाहिए कि
Of
10,000
all- of all the
10,000 तुम्हें
references.
पॉजिटिव कमेंट आ गए एंड यूर लाइक, हाँ ये तो होता रहता है, ये एक आदमी को पसंद क्यों नहीं? अबे तुम चाहते क्या हो? तुम क्या तानाशाह हो क्या किसी देश के? कि नहीं, सारे लोग पसंद करेंगे मुझे वरना
there's so last time we met actually. Last time, do you remember the last time we met?
if you can give me some sort of idea,
I'll
then
tell you. I'll tell you
remember.
the story. Last time we met was probably the more inspiring moments of my last 3 months because we were at a birthday party of another comedian.
Oh yeah, Kumar Varun.
Yeah, and मैं तो काफी drunk था. By the time you reached the party, I
It's
think.
crazy that you remember this and I don't, because I don't drink. That's insane.
But you had said, and we were just, and it was a weird party for me because everybody in that party had was this is before the follow me on Instagram video and all of that. So I was in a bit of a mindfuck of a space where I was like, यार ये लोग सब तो तोड़ रहे हैं सोशल मीडिया पे, मैं तो इधर जोक्स लिखने आया था, मैं पता नहीं क्या कर रहा हूँ अपने लाइफ के साथ. And then you said this line which blew my mind, and I've repeated it to many open micers since because it was so inspirational. You said यहाँ बाजार में लोग नंगे होके अपना माल बेच रहे हैं और हमें डर लग रहा है कि कहीं भूल से बनियान के नीचे निपल ना दिख जाए.
Pretty much. यार तुम देखो जो चल रहा है इंस्टाग्राम पे इस वक्त, वो मार्केट एक अनॉय करने की मार्केट हो गई है कि हम अब तंग करेंगे. ठीक है, लोग उस स्ट्रैटेजी से निकले हुए हैं सोशल मीडिया पे कि फॉलोअर बढ़ाने के लिए साला ऑडियंस को पका भी डालें, तंग भी कर डालें. हम रीपोस्ट करेंगे ऐसा पोस्ट जिसके अंदर हम वैसे भी चीख रहे हैं. ऑब्जर्वेशनल ह्यूमर की धज्जियां उड़ चुकी हैं इंस्टाग्राम पे. ठीक है, लाइक हर एक वीडियो वही है, क्वारंटीन के टाइम पे मेरी माँ क्या करती है, या
Those little sketches, oh god.
oh fuck dude, it's like ठीक है, बीच बीच में कोई कोई क्रिएटर्स कुछ कुछ अच्छा बनाते हैं. मैं I don't want to be one of those haters for no reason. I understand the eternal struggle of content creation. I understand that it's difficult. I understand that you put yourself out there every time. It's a big fucking risk. You know, I get all of those things and I have respect for them. Like जिसने भी million follower बनाए, जिसने भी बनाए 500,000 follower, dude जो भी करके बनाए, ठीक है. पहले मेरा एटीट्यूड होता था कि नहीं ये फालतू, ये फकौल है. अब नहीं है. अब मैं समझता हूँ कि यार तुमने एक ऑडियंस के एक सेक्शन के अंदर टैप इन करके एक अपनी एक स्टैंडिंग बनाई है, उसकी इज्जत करता हूं मैं. लेकिन पर्सनली मेरे को बहुत ज्यादातर ये जो काम जो माइक्रो कंटेंट का काम लोग किया करते हैं, मेरे को बहुत फकौल लगता है. ठीक है, और उसके बीच में मैं कह रहा हूँ कि हमारे पुराने स्टैंड अप वीडियोस इतने सारे पड़े हैं, उसमें से एक एक मिनट काट के अगर 50 इंस्टाग्राम पोस्ट बनाया जाए तो क्या खराब है. ठीक है, अगर कुछ हो जाए न्यूज में, मैं अपने फोन का कैमरा अपने चेहरे पर पॉइंट करके 4 बातें बोल दूं तो क्या खराब है. एक तरीके से हमारा फायदा इस बात में है कि सब लोगों ने इतना लो स्टैंडर्ड सेट किया हुआ है, और हम लोग, मैं अभी 9 साल से स्टैंड अप कर रहा हूँ ब्रो, तो मैं अगर कोई टॉपिक उठाऊंगा तो मेरे को पता है कि कुछ हद तक मैं लॉजिक तो ला सकता हूँ उसमें. यू नो, अगर मैं घंटा भर सोच लूं, उसके बारे में 2 घंटे सोच लूं, तो एक नेचुरल मशीनरी है मेरे अंदर जो उस चीज को थोड़ा रैशनलाइज करके उसकी एक स्क्रिप्ट बना लेगी. ठीक है, तो अगर मैं इतने बेसिक एफर्ट के साथ अपने फॉलोअर काउंट पे काम कर सकता हूँ तो क्यों नहीं. तो इन सारी चीजों को रिजेक्ट करके रखा हुआ था. एक ऐसा सपना पाला हुआ था दिमाग में कि कंटेंट तो भाई ऐसा बनाएंगे और यूट्यूब पे वीडियो ऐसा डालेंगे कि इंस्टाग्राम पे एक पोस्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, ट्विटर पे एक ट्वीट करने, कुछ करने की, हम तो अपने आप ही कहाँ ऐसे नहीं होता है. ठीक है,
I swear,
ऐसे नहीं
that has
होता
been the biggest realization.
ऐसा बहुत रेयरली होता है, जैसे अभिषेक उपमन्यु या बस्सी के केस में हुआ था. ठीक है, एंड डूड उन लोगों की आइडेंटिफिकेशन बहुत है, उन लोगों से बहुत लोग रिलेट करते हैं, बहुत अच्छे जोक्स हैं, बहुत रिलेटेबल है. तो एक तरीके से समझ में भी आता है कि ये हुआ है, यू नो. मेरा प्रॉब्लम ये है कि जो थोड़े राइटिंग बेस्ड कॉमिक्स जो है ना, जिनको अक्सर देख के माना जाता है कि इनमें ज्यादा इंटेग्रिटी है, वो लोग हमेशा अपने आप को ये रोमांटिसाइज्ड वर्जन में ही इमेजिन करते हैं कि हम डालेंगे 3 वीडियो और उसके बाद हम होंगे हर जगह. एंड इट्स लाइक डूड, ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड. जिन लोगों के साथ ये हुआ भी ना, उन लोगों ने ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था.
Exactly.
You know, they didn't go in thinking they're going to be some sort of big winner / hero. They just hoped कि dude, लोगों को जितने लोग देखे उनको पसंद आ जाए, मैंने अपने दिल से कुछ काम किया है बस. ठीक है, तो उससे ज्यादा तुम एक्सपेक्टेशन रख रहे हो, तुम अपने आप को चने के झाड़ पे चढ़ा रहे हो बिना having any, like without having any sort of proof that any of this will work out. So my point is that look, in October, end of October, I was looking at my Instagram. Right, I remember this. I had about 490k YouTube subs at the time. Okay, I'm so close to 500,000. all right? I have 17,000 Instagram followers. What the fuck is this? And you won't believe this, dude. I had the same fucking idea that you did. I was like, what if I wrote a stand-up video about how I don't have any Instagram followers? That would be a great way. That would be a great way to get Instagram followers. And then I just put it in the back of my head. I was like, stand-up तो अभी बहुत time तक करते रहेंगे. अभी तो मैं आलस मार रहा हूँ. और फिर कोरोना वायरस हो गया, कुछ नहीं लिखा ये वो. And then I obviously saw that you'd done the idea, which is totally fine. Because like it's just it's one of those things ki dude, it's clever. I appreciate it when I see somebody making an extraneous effort to be like, dude, नहीं हो रहा है तो अपने हाथ में लेते हैं ना सिचुएशन, rather than sit there and complain कि फॉलोअर नहीं बढ़ रहे भाई, मैं 500,000 बना के बैठा हूँ यूट्यूब पे, मेरा इंस्टाग्राम की नहीं. तो इसीलिए मैंने इंस्टाग्राम को सीरियसली लेना चालू किया, and from then till now I'm almost at 70K now. And
oh man, yeah, I've been seeing it, dude. Your Instagram handle has been like the prototype for so many others like right now. Where even for my channel, like a lot of what I put up is inspired because like we've had so many of these conversations. I know what to put on because of watching your channel. And you know, Sam Morril and Andrew Schultz. Yes,
Sam Morril is तो just killing it on another level. Andrew Schultz मुझे नहीं पसंद है, पर Sam Morril मुझे next level आदमी लगता है. उसका वो stand up like bombing for his mom. It's fucking genius, dude. It's genius. It's great. As far as my Instagram is concerned, it was. Now, here's my point about hating on creators. Okay, I've been on both sides. I've hated a lot on people. You know this. Everybody in the circuit knows this. Okay, and I'm on this side also, where I am creating, I am experimenting, and now I understand the struggle, and I understand मेरे judgment में कहाँ पे मैं unfair था. ठीक है, पहले मेरा point ये है कि आप hate कर लो, भले ही hate कर लो, दिल से hate कर लो, ठीक है. But the fact of the matter is कि अगर आप उनसे इतने ही बेहतर हो तो कुछ बनाओ भाई. और फिर अगर आपने कुछ बनाया और आप उनसे सच में बेहतर हो तो आपको अप्रिसिएशन क्यों मिल रही है? इसीलिए मिल रही है बिकॉज दे सक. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? आपको उनसे कंपेयर किया जा रहा है और आपको बोला जा रहा है कि आप अच्छे हो. ठीक है, तो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे आप अपनी अप्रिसिएशन भी कहीं ना कहीं उन्हें वो करते हो जो आपसे पहले ये रिस्क ले चुके हैं. यू नो व्हाट आई मीन?
Yeah, I completely get you.
Like a lot of comics will say कि यार ये undeserving comics हैं जो दुनिया भर टूर कर रहे हैं, जो टिकट बेच रहे हैं. Dude, वो सब छोड़ दे. वो बंदा कर रहा है, इसका मतलब फ्यूचर में तू कर पाएगा.
Exactly my point.
You know, वो अगर नहीं कर रहा होता तेरे को जाके ये सारी चीजें फिगर आउट करनी पड़ती. तू क्यों हेट कर रहा है फालतू में? You know?
Yeah, dude, the whole idea that and it's a constant, you know, the worst thing that I hear a lot is ये funny नहीं है, इसको क्यों मिला? I'm like, dude, देख, दो चीज हो सकता है. एक, या तो firstly I highly doubt कि वो funny नहीं है, because अगर तुम्हारे सामने बैठा हुआ कमरा नहीं हंस रहा है तो तुम funny नहीं हो, मैं मान सकता हूँ. पर अगर सामने बैठा हुआ कमरा हंस रहा है, तुम्हारा ही ऑडियंस आ रहा है तुमको देखने, तो किसी को तो फनी लग रहा है. एंड दैट्स द ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ कॉमेडी, राइट? टू बी फनी टू द पीपल इन द रूम.
बेस्ट से बेस्ट कॉमिक आज भी उन चीजों को एक्सपीरियंस करता है कि उसी की ऑडियंस बैठी हुई है और उसको वो रिस्पांस नहीं मिला जो उसने एक्सपेक्ट किया था. ठीक है,
एग्जैक्टली.
इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि उसका किया हुआ सारा काम इनवैलिडेट हो जाता है, वो फुद्दू हो जाता है. इट्स जस्ट बॉम्ब. दैट्स ऑल इट इज.
इट्स फकिंग बैटिंग, dude. Every innings is fresh, dude.
Exactly. You're only as good as your last score.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're not funny, if you're consistently not funny and you are given an opportunity, then it will reflect in the special itself, and that is such a huge risk to take as an artist.
Exactly. Now answer me this. People who may have had flourishing careers, people who may have made significant amounts of money, whatever, there are people who have maintained quality, there are people who have improved quality, there are people whose quality has deteriorated. They have seen corresponding returns.
Yeah.
Nobody whose quality has deteriorated is selling 3,000 tickets right now.
Exactly.
You know? So that's my point. The two comics in India right now, excluding Veer, because Veer is from a time which is even before our circuit. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was one of the only people doing it in the country at that time.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about like the two comics that sell the most tickets, being Zakir and Upmanyu, have their own strengths. You know what I mean? Have their own like very honed, very polished skill sets that make the audiences show up. You know, they're not going and half-assing it and then suddenly कहीं से लोग आ रहे हैं. Zakir का on-stage command world class है. You know,
exactly.
Like उसका audience पे command world class है. Upmanyu का joke writing skill गांड फाड़ के, like उसका video देख के fresh हो जाता है इंसान. Like you could be tired, you could be feeling lethargic. Upmanyu ने नया video drop किया, suddenly you're motivated. suddenly you're like, dude, ये क्या लिखता है यार, ये क्या logically सोचता है चीजों के बारे में. It's
Exactly.
just that's what good art does, you know. And my point is, those are the people that get rewarded. Those are the people that sell the tickets. Those are the people that do the big shows. So the strategy is clear. लोगों को तंग मत करो. You know, that's what I believe. मेरे को बोला जाता है कि तुम इतना कम अपलोड क्यों करते हो, क्योंकि भाई मुझे लोगों को तंग नहीं करना. जब मेरे हाथ में सच में कुछ है तब मैं लाके दूंगा ना. That's the only thing. लोगों ने क्वांटिटी का गेम कुछ ज्यादा ही खेल लिया है, और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि सिर्फ क्वांटिटी का गेम खेलो अगर, तो diminishing returns in the long run.
But I think what helps you with this insight is also the fact that you worked in television for a while. Like, did you? Hey, dude, I wanted to confirm this with you on the podcast because I've been hearing this for a while. Did you write on Takeshi's Castle?
So basically, when I was 16, I got some work at Cartoon Network, जहाँ पे जहाँ पे उन लोगों ने मेरे को टकेशी's Castle के कुछ पार्ट्स के लिए लिखने के लिए बोला था.
Okay.
And then they asked me to follow the same sort of template, the same sort of humor to write for another show called The Unbeatable Banzuke.
Okay.
It was another Japanese show where people did fucking ridiculous things. That show never picked up like Takeshi's Castle. So I can't really claim to have written it. You know what I mean? But there were a few scripts that I had written for parts of it, like that.
What? So to do a quick count, what all comedy stuff have you written? I think you've written on Kapil.
I have written. So yeah. So now about 7-8 years ago, when I started doing stand-up in order to make some money, I wrote a few sketches for Comedy Nights with Kapil. I am not proud of that. I don't really. मेरे को तो in fact ये भी नहीं पता कि Takeshi's Castle में मेरा लिखा हुआ कितना use हुआ, कितना नहीं हुआ, क्या हुआ. It's not anything that I know, so I can't really claim it. You know what I mean? But Kapil था. गारफील्ड के कुछ एपिसोड्स थे जो हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करने थे, जो मैं 16 साल की उम्र में लिख रहा था पोगो पे या कार्टून नेटवर्क पे. ऐसा कुछ था. I don't even remember properly now because.
Did you get this through like because I mean I know your dad is a writer.
No, none of that. So I was writing for this website called campusjunkie.com, where the deal was simple. You get a few writers from every college, and whoever has the most viewed article gets. So there were brackets, like payment brackets for every article.
Right.
If it's rated poorly by the moderators and doesn't get too many hits, then you get like $200, $300 for it. Okay. If it's rated highly, gets a lot of hits, you get like $1,000, $1,200.
Okay.
So I became one of the highest viewed writers on that platform because I was writing funny only, and people were writing all this intense shit, and I was like, dude, मेरे को मजाक उड़ाना. So that's what I was doing. मेरा एक आर्टिकल था जो तो उन लोगों ने कंपटीशन रन किया कि जो आर्टिकल वेबसाइट पे सबसे ज्यादा व्यूड होगा उसको आईफोन मिलेगा उस टाइम पे when we were like 17, and my article won, and I just asked
I remember them, this is around the time we met.
Yeah, and I just asked them for the money for an iPhone because I didn't want a fucking iPhone, I wanted an electric guitar. And then I took that money and I bought an electric guitar.
And then we were briefly in a band together.
Yes, we were. So not many people are going to know this, but Mehta and I met when we were 16, 17 years old. Mehta was a drummer. I was a singer. There were two other guys, Harshveer and Bunty. We were in a band together. And for about a couple of months, we used to jam at Mehta's grandfather's house in Borivali.
Grandfather's house in Borivali.
Abandoned house in Borivali. Yeah, we used to go there and jam, and people used to complain about the noise. So
they did not last too long. The geography of Bombay completely fucked that band's equation because वो मैं Grant Road रहता था, you were living in Marol.
Dude, वो amp लेके भैंसो लोकल ट्रेन में तेरे घर पे आने में ही हालत खराब हो जाती थी. मतलब कभी बजाएगा कौन उधर जाके यार. Fuck. They're like drum kit है पर 1.5 घंटा दूर. ठीक है जाओ.
Same thing happened with me to take the drums to Borivali. Dude, मैं पूरा drum kit piece by piece Grant Road से Borivali ट्रेन में लेके गया था.
Oh fuck. That's brutal, dude.
And then the walk from the station to असट bass drum और hardware bag लेके चल के जाने का.
Fuck, that's crazy, man. So
16, 17 campus junkie.
Then basically what happened is I've written for a lot of award shows, things like the Zee Cine Awards, Balaji Awards, a couple of stints, 1 or 2 stints on Filmfare as well, IFA, all of that stuff. Because you have to do a lot of corporate writing work. See, my deal was simple. I felt that there were a lot of comics who were uploading videos too soon. They were getting success, but I felt like this is not really like, personally, I thought that I want to grow in the dark. And when I
Yeah.
get on the internet, I want to put out something that's very impactful. And so for that, I thought, now if I have to pay my bills and I can't upload videos just yet, I want to grow and I want to become a better comic. So then I'm going to have to do these writing gigs. So I was doing a lot of writing gigs to make money. And so 5 years of writing for anyone and anything. I worked at, I wrote a lot of sketches at AIB as well.
You were there when I was interning there.
Yes. You remember we were in the same. We were working on every Bollywood party song with Irfan Khan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wrote a large number of lyrics for that song. A lot of their music-based stuff I had a large contribution on, and there were a lot of sketches as well. And I learned a lot over there. You know. Then there was On Air with AIB, which I did because I wanted to be on the same writing team as Upmanyu, Madhvendra, and Siddharth Dudeja.
Right.
Basically, none of us had videos out then, and nobody was quote unquote popular. But I just looked at these guys and I was like, these guys know things that I don't.
Yeah.
You know, their style is different from mine. I want to learn this shit, so I want to work in this writing team. And so then I went ahead and decided to be part of the same, like accepted the offer to be part of the same writing team. And yeah, that was a great experience. Hectic, but I learned a lot. Worked for Weird Ass Comedy, Veer Das's company, obviously. That was some of the best times I had early on, especially in stand-up, because we were doing all kinds of outrageous things, man. We were doing costumes and sketches on stage, 5-6 people traveling everywhere, doing all this shit. It wasn't like I was making an insane amount of money or anything, but the experience was just mind-blowing. And what it does is, like, you know, you're a kid, you start doing a couple of open mics and you say, I love this comedy thing and I want to get into it. And suddenly you get into the epicenter of it, you know? Like the six comics who are grinding the hardest, writing the most jokes are now around you, you know? And the people who are taking the most outrageous risks and programming the craziest shows are now around you. You're part of that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Fucking sink or swim now. And it was fantastic. I loved it, you know? So yeah, I feel like back then I had certain very brash views and ways of looking at things, which right now I realize, you know, like, you can be in a situation and think, man, this needs to be better, that needs to be better, I need to move ahead, I need to do this quickly, I need to do that quickly. But when you do all of that, when you get to a certain stage in your life and you look back, you're like, man, I would have been so much worse without that experience. I would have been so much, like, I would have lacked so many things had that thing not taken time to happen, you know, or had I got what I thought my worth was a little bit sooner. You know, then I would have missed out on other things. So yeah, it's been a long time. It's been an atypical sort of situation for me, because people generally tend to make successful YouTube channels in 4 or 5 years of doing stand-up. It's my 9th, and I prefer it this way personally.
I completely agree. I mean, I feel like career-wise, I've always been a step and a half behind you. Because
I mean, you started
remember
after me, dude. I mean, we started around the same time, but you started like 6-8 months after me. So
yeah. And plus, I was not as you were. I think you dropped out of college in the middle. You started working full time. I was still doing the law and audio engineering.
Yeah.
But no, I meant it from a point of view, like I feel like it's always like I'm walking in a space and I see you and I'm like, okay, so I know that this is a nice place to go to later. Because the first open mic, genuinely, because the first time I did an open mic, it was, if you remember, it was the last open mic at Cafe Goa. In that railway ka dabba. I know you were there because you came first and I came second. And it was because you told me all these great things, dude, like ki acha ye karne ka hai, ye follow kar, is canvas mein ja, ye open mic kar, ye kar, wo kar. That's how I knew that I had to do these things, because otherwise I wouldn't really know. So I really wanted to thank you for that.
Dude, I appreciate it, but you would have known, man. Like, I
would not have known, Karunesh, trust me.
You would have Googled it, you would have spoken to 10 other people. It's not like, it's like, you know how people say things like, "Arey dude, तूने सुजीत को बोला तो मेरे को कैनवस पे स्पॉट मिला. हाँ, पर तूने जाके किल किया ब्रो. You know, तो हक देता तो दूसरा स्पॉट नहीं मिलता ना. तो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे कोई तुम्हारे सक्सेस का जिम्मेदार नहीं है. लाइक इट्स ऑल यू मैन. But thank you. It's very kind of you to say that. I appreciate it. I just feel like, as far as stand up is concerned, I have gone through a plethora of emotions about it over the last 9 years. I've experienced everything that I think I can experience in relation to it. I have loved it a lot. I've been passionate about it a lot. I have understood a lot about it. I have not understood a lot about it. It's felt like it all makes sense to me. It's also felt like a complete magic trick that I'm completely incapable of performing.
Yeah.
You know, I have felt like I'm completely made for this job, and on other days I felt like, man, I'm such a fucking imposter. So I guess what it tells you is, at the end of the day, that you just have to trust that you love this, because you're not going to be thinking about something so much. You're not going to be obsessed with something so much if it doesn't truly really matter to you. And you know what? If it matters to you, बाकी कोई चीज उतनी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है फिर, क्योंकि बाकी तुम फिगर आउट कर लोगे. मेरा तो ये मानना है कि फनी तो कोई भी इंसान बन सकता है, मतलब और फनी और फनी और फनी.
I agree.
लाइक टैलेंट,
It's a muscle.
हाँ, टैलेंट इस मामले में बहुत ओवररेटेड चीज है. उसका कोई, बहुत सारे टैलेंटेड लोग हैं जो आलसी लंड है मेरे जैसे, जो बैठे रहते हैं, नहीं करते हैं. मैंने 2 साल बर्बाद किए डूड. पिछले 2 साल में जो भी मैंने डाला है वो पहले का लिखा हुआ माल है. तो अब मेरे को वो लग रहा है कि हाँ डूड, ठीक है, ये तूने खेल लिया जितना खेलना, तू मजे कर लिए जितने करने थे. अब तेरे को बहुत सीरियस ग्राइंड पे उतरना पड़ेगा. पीपल लाइक उपमन्यु डू सो वेल बिकॉज दे वर्क हार्ड. You know, nobody likes to hear this about art, because they're like, art has to be the escape, right? It can't be a grind. It has to be fun. It has to be joyous and all of that. Yes, it does. But the facts are the facts, dude. The people who do the best work the hardest.
Yeah, I feel like many years ago, this Azhar Usman and Hari Kondabolu and Rajiv Satyal had come to India.
Yeah.
To do like this quick tour, and they had a workshop. And Azhar had said something really, really poignant. He said, the more efforttless it seems, the funnier it is. Yeah, and the more effortless it seems, the more it's been planned. So it's like
exactly. The more effort has gone into it. I remember I've been getting into like Desi hip hop a lot recently, and there's this insane track by an artist called Rap Demon from Pakistan. उसका गाना है Gauntlet 2.0, और मैंने वो शेयर किया था. तो he was nice enough to send me a message thanking me, and we were talking about his work, and I told him the exact same thing. I said, बहुत ज्यादा effortless लगता है, तो मैं सोच सकता हूँ कितना effort गया होगा. You know, I said the exact same thing to him.
We are going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back in the second half to discuss joke writing more specifically, to discuss the Amazon special more specifically, and whatever else comes to mind. Be right back after this. If you're listening to the podcast, please do make sure you listen to the ads in between. There are no sponsors, just me making up ads in the afternoons. See you in the second half.